Hi everybody, and welcome to Starry Hilder's Homestead. Now today I'm going to be talking about the All American pressure canner. I love my pressure canner, and as you know, I do a lot of canning here on my homestead, kind of a staple for our self-sufficiency. So a lot of people have been buying these All American canners, and there's a lot of newbie canners out there, so I decided to do another video on how to operate this thing. So if you have an All American canner, let's get started, and we'll go through this baby step by step to make you more familiar with it. Alright, here is just a couple basics that you will find on every All American canner. They're all the same, it just depends on the size. Number one, this thing here is your weight. It is actually a pressure regulator, and it lets you select 3 pressure settings. I don't know if you can see this, but the pressure settings are a 5, a 10, and 15. Now, the most important thing about this little jiggler is you want to make sure that all the holes are clean, okay? That's number one. The other thing on your canner is this little thing here. This is your pressure gauge. So 2 important key things is your pressure gauge and your pressure regulator. Okay, and now other things to become familiar with on your pressure cooker. This here is your vent valve, and so important, people. Whenever you start your pressure canning for the year, you better make sure that you lift up that lid and you look through there. And you better make sure you can see light on the other side. And so important thing, and I think this was designed for me. This is this is actually an overpressure plug if this vent pipe becomes plugged. So it really does have a really nice safety feature. And the other really unique feature about this pressure canner is no rubber gasket, which is kind of cool. So as you can see, this is going to be a metal-to-metal type of seal, and what the manufacturer recommends is using good old-fashioned Vaseline. And I've had some people say olive oil works. I used olive oil just one time, and it really didn't work as well as the Vaseline. So, but what you want to do, and I'll try to show you this, we'll get up close here, is there's an inside edge here that is beveled, and you want to apply a real thin layer around that bevel, and that is how you are going to seal your canner. Oh, can you see that? There you go. Just like that. All right, and now we're ready to fill up the canner with some water. And people, this is really important. This is the thing. If you put not enough water in your pressure canner, you could boil it dry. It's not a good feeling when you're boiling stuff dry. And if you overfill it, that's probably not good either. So listen very closely with this All American canner, and it doesn't make any difference, again, what size you have. You do not want to fill it more than 2/3 full, okay? And that's 2/3 full when you're doing stuff like soups and stews. Now, when you're cooking foods that expand, and today I'm doing pinto beans, so things like your beans, they say fill the cooker half full. And when they talk about half full, that means half full with the beans and half full with the water. And I'm going to show you, because like I said, I'm doing pinto beans today. So I've got a really awesome example for you guys. My no-soak pinto beans today. So you see I've got them all ready. I've got my water heating up. And then what I did is, this recipe calls for about 1.5 inches of water in the canner. Just 1.5 inches. Okay, so the next step is filling up your canner. So, doesn't make any difference what you can, but people at home, if you are new, make sure you follow the recipe once again for preparing your jars, because every canning recipe is going to be a little bit different on sterilized or not sterilized. So today, as you see, I am doing, excuse my reach, my pinto beans. And the thing I love about this All American canner is it's a big one, so I can double stack, and I am on a pinto bean-a-thon. So once I get these squared away in my canner, I am going to add my second
Now we are
rack.
to the part where I'm going to tell you people to stop. Stop, please, and pay attention to Starry, because I am going to go over how to put this lid on and how to secure it. Very, very important. So come on now, stop and pay
Okay,
attention.
this is what the canner looks like with the lid on. And I'm showing you this because it has a little indentation right on the canner. And on the lid, it has a wonderful arrow. Look at that. You see that arrow? So when you put that lid on, you are going to line the arrow up with that indentation. Now, this is a tricky lid. It's a nice lid, but it is a little tricky. So you're going to try to line it up as best you can, and then you're going to get your knobs, these little screw things, and flip those up, just like I'm doing. And sometimes you might have to futz around a little bit.
And
just
once
be
you get them
patient.
all flipped up, then what you're going to do, this is where you really got to pay attention. You will be tightening each screw, each of these knobs, across from each other. Opposites. 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 Very, very important with securing
Okay,
this
people,
lid.
this is a #1 tip as I stand here behind the steam escaping from the vent hole. 10 full minutes on any canner. Doesn't make any difference if you have a Presto canner or an All American canner. When you get that pressure, that canner going, you got to release that pressure. So it
Okay,
comes right
so
out of
I
that
have
vent
had
hole.
this going for 10 minutes.
And now, depending on your canning recipe, you're going to take your weight and you are going to put it right on there. Now, my pinto beans require 10 pounds of pressure, so there we go. And now what's going to happen is you are going to wait for that little jiggler there to start jiggling. And once it starts jiggling, people, this is the exciting part. Then you're going to start your timing for your recipe. Now, I'm doing pinto beans, so as soon as that baby starts to jiggle, oh, I'm jiggling. I'm going to set my clock for 75 minutes. You're done canning. Now what do? This is the very, very last step, people. You need to let your canner sit. This is where patience is a virtue. Don't try to futz with the jiggler or any of the other things. Just let it sit. Now, sometimes it takes a while for the pressure canner to cool off. But that's okay. It's not going anywhere. And then when it is done, you can take this off. And then, voila, you're done. And then, oh, the fun part. The fun part is undoing all of your little knobs and then seeing what's inside. And this is what I love. Okay, and that's done. And still be careful because you know it's hot. There's still going to be a little bit of steam in there, but this is live action with Starry Hilder. Okay. Oh, I can smell my pinto bean. Look at this. Oh, pinto beans. And you see how they're kind of still cooking? That's normal because it's going to take a long time for your canned goods to cool off. So at this point, you can take them out of the canner, which I usually do, and I just put them on a towel and I let them set out, and then you will hear that wonderful canning noise. Ping, ping, ping. And then you're done.